like to offer my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of my beloved Bhagawan, Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Jai Sai Ram. My name is Prity. I'm from Region 4, Leicester Sai Centre. I wanted to share today my moment with Sai, but before I talk about my moment, I'd just like to share a bit of background about myself. I started my journey with Swami at the tender age of 4. I was very blessed to be born in a family who started to go to bhajans and bhavagas from when I was 4 years old. My mum was an ardent devotee of Swami. Her connection with Swami was utmost because it was just her own connection. There's no physical form. It was just her with Swami. Through her devotion, we learned who Swami was and how we were going to connect with him. One of my first points in my journey with Swami, my mum had given me a locket of Sathya Sai Baba, and on the other side was Shirdi Sai Baba. I had this locket on me all the time. At a very young age, probably 6 or 7, I swallowed this locket. And I remember saying to my mum, I swallowed this locket, and all I kept saying is, Baba's gone down me, mummy, I'm not sure what's happened. So they took me to the hospital and had an x-ray, and what they were told is that they could actually see Swami going round and round inside me, and they said, this locket will come out at one way or another. So that was the incident where I'd swallowed Swami. From that point onwards, I've always wanted a locket of Swami. I was really intrigued to know who Sathya Sai Baba was. We had a lot of experiences just with wider family, meeting them, and that's how my internal journey with Swami started. At the age of 8, we had, with my yearning to say, Swami, I want to see you, but I don't just want to see you in this form in front of me in our puja room. I would like to have a locket. And I kept saying, Mommy, I want a locket. Mom, I want a locket. What do I do? She said, just keep praying, just keep praying. Through the post, suddenly one day, there was an envelope that came through. And in that envelope that someone had posted, there were 3 gold lockets, huge lockets this size. And as soon as I saw them, I couldn't believe it. They had 3 lockets with Swami's face on them. Completely shocked. I was like, can't believe this. First thing my dad said, we don't know where these come from. We'll find out. We investigated. We didn't know where they came from. Decided finally those lockets were going to stay in our mandir until we got married, and my dad was going to give each one of us those lockets, me and my 2 sisters. Didn't happen. A while later, our house got burgled. Those lockets had gone. End of that, no locket. So it wasn't until university that I realized my connection with Swami deepened so much. I was so alone, was so lost, and trying to find my way. I didn't know why we were here, what everything was about. And that is when my true inspiration came. Suddenly I got a calling, come to me. And I just didn't know how I was going to go. My parents were not going to be able to let me go. We couldn't afford it as a family. There's just no way we could go. I really prayed and prayed and prayed. A calling came, the World Youth Conference, the first World Youth Conference. And long story short, my parents finally decided that I could go with another family, and I attended that. Seeing Swami's presence in the flesh was just uplifting. So, coming back from the World Youth Conference, I knew I had to do more. I wasn't doing enough. My yearning for Swami was calling me, this internal feeling that there's more to be done, there's more work to be done. At the time, in our region, there wasn't many opportunities for youth to do any activities. So I rallied together with the youth within the region, and we just made things happen. We did various small little projects, spiritual projects more than service. We're trying to get some work off the ground, but it's all just getting activities, getting youth involved in bhajans and in the organisation. And then come 2001, I went again to Prashanti with a friend. And it was that turning point with Swami. And I felt Swami saying to me, come back, but don't come back on your own. Bring the youth. And I thought, that is not going to happen. My parents are not going to allow me, a young girl. How are you going to bring back a big group? And I just felt this pining, Swami, I really want this to happen, but I just can't see it happening. Went back home and again got back involved with youth, and a lot of work went on. We had a number of projects that we had a couple of retreats, youth camps, And it was at that point where the journey started. A year on, 6 months after that work, we started to put together regular meetings. Every weekend we had rehearsals, practice, we had play practices, we had Vedam. It was the first time we actually started to do Vedam. We've never done Vedam before. The students said they were teachers, so we started to learn Vedam. We had Suprabhatam every Sunday morning, early morning from 6 o'clock in the morning, and we had rehearsals. So as these rehearsals are taking place and as we're preparing for this group trip, we got married in between that. And can you imagine all the effort that's going into getting ready for this trip of a lifetime to see Swami with a group of 73 people in between, getting married and arranging a wedding. And I just didn't know which was more important, but knowing that we were going to Swami was just all we could think about. So we got married in May, and in July we were going on this trip. This trip was very important, not only because I wanted a physical connection with Swami and I wanted to see him, but it was more that what did Swami want? The day arrived. Again, Swami comes from darshan, and we just thought he was going to walk by. That day he came and he called us for an interview. He told this group, us girls, to get up and go to the interview room. Now there was a bit of confusion because we thought we were going to go into the mandir, but then the Sevadal was telling us to go into the interview room. The girls, 43 of us, went into the interview room. As we sat in the interview room, I was very blessed to be able to sit at the feet of Swami's chair. And as we sat in the room, we thought, this room is so small, how are we going to fit the boys? How are they going to fit into this room? Now, in preparation for this trip, all the work we've done, all the messages, all the bookwork, all the folders, the photos, all the albums, every preparation we created, all of that was on the boys' side. And the reason I was on the boys' side, because the ladies' side is very strict, the Sevadal are very strict. So all that we took into the interview room was us. We sat, we waited quietly. Swami walks in. And as he walks in, he sat down lovingly, asked the elders, would they like chairs? Are we all okay? Are we comfortably seated? Like a mother, he just sat there talking to us. So we walk in and he walks in and now he sits at the chair. So Swami's sitting at the chair and on this chair right in front of me, and I'm sitting at his feet. I see his feet on the ground and they're beautiful, beautiful, smooth, soft skin. But we were told not to touch Swami, right? Because we don't know whether he'd give us his permission, and so none of us, even thought about dared to touch Swami's robe or his feet. The interview started. Swami very lovingly asked us, "Kya samachar?" What news? And some of the ladies, the elder ladies, because it was aunties who went, they started to talk to Swami. They spoke to Swami in Hindi. Swami asked again, "Aur kya samachar?" So mentioned more. Then we start asking spiritual questions because we were asked to prepare spiritual questions. So we prepared spiritual questions. It's about 6 or 7 spiritual questions. At this point, all the girls are sobbing in the interview room because they were so excited. We could not believe we're actually at the lotus feet of our Bhagawan. And as he asked, as we spoke, he kept saying, "Aur kya samachar? Aur kya samachar?" At this point, all the girls had finished asking all the spiritual questions, and it got quiet. But Swami kept going. "Tell me, ask me." So slowly, one by one, all the girls got to ask their personal questions. It was amazing, to say the least. I felt blessed because I was sitting at his feet. But for me, what was even better was his message was, serve the poor, serve the needy. In a developing country, what can you do but develop? So develop and serve the needy, serve the poor. There are many homeless people, go and serve them. That was a clear message for us. There are many more messages that Swami portrayed through the interview as people asked the questions. And then Swami came to me to ask, I asked Swami, Swami, my parents are not well, my in-laws are not well, what to do? And Swami said, give them prasad. Do you have prasad? I said, yes, Swami. He said, give them prasad. And then he turned to me and he asked me, where is your husband? At which point I went, Swami is outside, because he was sitting in darshan outside. He said, okay, how is he? And I said, Swami, he's okay, but he's got some problems on his hands. Swami didn't say anything. He said, very good boy, very good boy. But temper, tension. At which point I was like, oh, Swami, how do we remove tension? How do you remove temper? And he said, no tension, no temper, no tension, no temper. Have love in your heart. So that was a direct message for my husband. At this point, Swami materializes a locket and a chain. And as it comes out, he says to me, who's on this? Who's this? And I said, Swami, it's you. He said, yes. So if I recollect back to my childhood, I wanted a locket with Swami's face on it. And he shows me, Swami, this is me. And I said, yes, Swami, it's you. He said, yes. At which point I asked Swami to put the chain and locket on me. And he did. And it was like a warm, loving hug I got from him. I don't know what was going through me at the time, but I just remember thinking, this is an amazing moment. Then Swami asked me to stand him up. He says, help me get up. So I helped him, and Bijal, one of my friends, we got up, got Swami up. So I could see Swami very light. I said, yes, Swami. And at the moment I'm thinking, I don't want to drop Swami. Whatever happens, I don't want him to fall back in the chair. And he got up, and then I got to, myself and Bijal, we got to walk Swami out to the interview room. As we were walking out, somebody else went to touch Swami's robe. And in a stern voice, he said, no. So the only thought that when Swami wills, only then you get this opportunity. So we walked into the door, and Swami said to me, a very good girl. And then he said to all the girls, very good girls, very good girls. And Swami asked me, are you happy? I said, yes, Swami, I'm very happy. And all the girls are very happy, Swami. And as I walked him out the door, we got to the door, and I let go of his hand so that he could walk out. As that moment happened, I realized, it was only recently I realized that I got this locket and chain, which to date, I do not wear. When I got back to the UK, my husband fell ill, and I gave him that locket and chain because Swami was talking to him. And as I gave that locket and chain to him, I realized that it wasn't for me. All these years, he came to me in a locket. He came to me in a locket and a chain. He came to me in a locket, I swallowed, and it left me. Those lockets that came, the letterbox came, they left, they didn't come to me. And then this final one, it came, but it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine to begin with. And he explained that in the interview when somebody else asked him, he goes, why do you need all these trinkets? He goes, I'm here. Why are you after these trinkets? Because all you need is me, my love. And all he's taught me along the way is surrender. As you give yourself up to Swami, as you give yourself up to him, he will let the rest of it come. He will give you what is right for you. And it's his grace that you get all the time. So one of my life's lessons has always been, you give everything up to him. You tell him, Swami, you work through me. You are my guide, my guru. You are the one who's the instrument I'm working through. And only as we do this, he will then walk through us, work through us. And that is my moment with Sai. Jai Sai Ram.